how do we become like sexually fulfilled when it comes to marriage?
Yeah.
And so that's what this thing is all about. It's like, look, let's get it out the way. If you're at home and you're watching, just say sex.
I knew he was gonna say that.
just do me a favor. I know I can't hear you. Just say sex. Okay. Now I want you to say sex is good. Okay. God made sex. God made us. He made marriage, and sex is a good thing. It's a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that we get past the kind of the shadow of sex, even in today's secular society, I still feel like sex is this thing that even when people are trying to openly discuss it and talk about it, they may be leading it into a place of kind of vulgarity. They're leading it to a place of, kind of desacralizing what it really is. And I believe that it could be sacred
Yeah.
and at the same time very fulfilling. I believe that it can be, godly, which I know sounds really weird when we think about like sex and God. We think like when we having sex, like God closes his eyes or something,
yeah.
because it's just like this weird thing. But it could be godly, and it can be pleasurable. It can be purposeful in the sense that it's not just for procreation, but it actually strengthens the marriage in so many ways, and we're going to talk about that today. But I just want us all to get over it real quick. We're going to talk about sex.
I'm over it. Are you
All
over
right.
it?
Cool.
Okay.
So first tip I want to give you is this: the most important positions, because we all like sexual positions.
What's the
And
position?
the most important position that you can use in your marriage for sexual fulfillment is it is the position of your heart. And I know that's a big letdown for some people. It was like, oh, but here's why. It doesn't matter what physical position. I mean, you can go through the whole Kama Sutra and try to think that you're gonna find this, this amazing sexual experience that we've seen somewhere or that we're dreaming about. But the truth is, the best sex is sex when your hearts are in sync.
Yeah.
It's when you're actually using your body as an expression of what's in your heart for the person you're having sex with, which in this case we're a marriage ministry, so we all about having sex with your spouse. And so the point is, like when it's from the heart, there's a different level of intensity.
Yeah.
There's a different level of purposefulness behind it.
Even preparation is different.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, like when it's all about the heart and when your heart is in the right place, you are just looking forward to a night to remember. Like for you, it is like repeating your wedding night.
Absolutely.
You're looking good, you're smelling good, you got the candles everywhere, the kids are put down, and so you're looking for again a night to remember.
Yeah, and so how often, for instance, if you were to just kind of inventory your own heart or your own mind, how many times have you prepared yourself to think, this is my bride, this is my king, this is my queen, and I'm preparing myself to go in and show them how much I love them. I want to use this opportunity, sex is an opportunity to express to them, you are mine and I am yours. I ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere either. And you use sex as an opportunity to voice physically what it is that you're really thinking about them spiritually.
Yeah.
And so the position of your heart is huge. If it's because see in this society the way that things work, and please hear me, I want it to feel great for everybody out there. I want your sex to be great. I want you to have like great feeling.
Fireworks.
Yeah, But the truth is, the best fireworks are gonna start when your heart's in a place to where you're saying, you know what, we may have had a rough day, but she's still mine.
Yeah.
We may have had a bad year,
Yeah.
but he's still mine, and I'm gonna lay hold to him tonight and let him know just how much I'm still in this.
Yeah.
Even if you got to fight to have it,
Yeah.
because it's a tight financial moment or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sex is a physical way to communicate a spiritual truth. Your heart, we are one. Adam looked at Eve and he said, you are now flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. And literally, that's a oneness, and we're talking about sex. So everybody got a picture in your mind of you and your spouse having sex, and that means you two are like merged together as one being. And it's a picture of something that has already taken place in the spiritual. So spiritually, God brought you together. You said I do, and He made y'all one. So when you have sex, you literally have the wedding ceremony over
Yeah.
and over
Yeah.
and over and over again.
Absolutely.
And so the best way to get it together is kind of like, imagine if, and ooh, this is pretty good. Imagine if you show up for the wedding and you got the bride and the groom and everybody's all dressed up and the place looks nice, or even if it's at the courthouse, for all I care, it doesn't matter. Let's say you just know at this day you're supposed to repeat these words. And whoever gets up, the judge or the preacher gets up, dearly beloved, we're gathered here, and so on and so forth. Do you take, and imagine if the person physically says it, do you take this person to be your spouse? But in their hearts, they have no feeling for them.
Yeah.
They don't really mean it. They're not really intending on fulfilling what it is that they're saying. And at that point, yeah, it's legally binding, but it's not really powerful. It's not genuine. And that's my point with sex. When the position of your heart is not just, it's more than words. These words communicate a
Yeah.
truth. I'm in this for life.
And that's
know.
where you can look over and instead of saying it's my duty or it's my task, but it's not that. It's relating your heart to that person, and that gives you the power and the strength to kind of move all the drama out of the
Yeah.
way, move the task from the day out
Yeah.
of the way, to say, listen, this is something that I want to do, that I gotta do.
Right, and I like that because a lot of times I've talked to, we've counseled a lot of couples. We've been married for 18 years, by the way. We've been married for 18 years. We got 3 children, so y'all know we was doing something. And then and so we
Do the
counseled
math.
we counseled a lot of couples, and so one of the things that we'll find is some couples, they're so busy. They're just so busy. Taking care of school, working, taking care of the kids, that after a while you kind of ask them, like, when the last time, how frequently are y'all having sex? And you talking about once a month, maybe twice. Yeah. And I mean, listen, guys, that's low. You need to be cementing your oneness more frequently than that. And you got to find your balance. You got to find your right number. But what we've seen sometimes, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, is their sex life was an indication of other things going on in their lives. Mm-hmm. And usually when there was struggle or tension, not just in the marriage, we got to fly in the webinar.
Sorry.
Just randomness. Usually when couples are distant in other areas, whether it be financial or just busyness has overtaken
Stress.
their marriage, usually they aren't having date nights either. They aren't really communicating with each other either.
All that's pushed to the side.
Yeah, and so the sex is kind of like a key indicator of the tension that's on that relationship anyway. So what I want to challenge couples to do is think about this. Think about it like this. How often would you like to reiterate your commitment to your spouse? How often? And the cool part is not just you just have to say it, but you get to show it, and you get to like it while you're showing it. Like that's like great.